Well, I'm sure it's very hard to restrain yourself, said Eric Swalwell to me. The only point that I was making in that piece that he was quoting is a very obvious one.
So Ben Shapiro just exposed the stunning hypocrisy of Eric Swalwell, mocking restraint while facing multiple rape allegations. This isn't just political theater. It's about Democrats protecting their own despite believing women when it suits them. The irony is absolutely devastating.
We all have desires. We all have darker impulses, and it is our job as civilized human beings to stop those. And Eric Swalwell was mocking me for that statement because he was saying, well, you may have I assume he was saying, you may have a difficult time restraining your desires, but some people like me do not. Well,
Captain Fang Fang refers to Christine Fang, the Chinese spy who targeted Swalwell for years, sleeping with him while he sat on the Intelligence Committee. The FBI briefed him in 2015, yet he stayed silent about the national security breach for years.
So, not only is Eric Swalwell famous for sleeping with a Chinese spy, but also, it turns out that he now has a bevy of sexual misconduct and rape allegations following him around. Oh, no. CNN reported over the weekend, quote, a former staffer of Representative Eric Swalwell, a leading Democratic candidate for California governor, says the congressman raped her when she was heavily intoxicated and left her bruised and bleeding, an allegation Swalwell strongly denies.
Notice how CNN buried this story on a weekend. Classic damage control for Democrats. Meanwhile, Swalwell spent years as the face of #MeToo, demanding Brett Kavanaugh's head over far less evidence. The allegations include bruising and bleeding. This isn't ambiguous.
I was pushing him off of me, saying no, the woman told CNN of the incident, which she said happened in 2024 after she had stopped working in Swalwell's office. He didn't stop. She said it was the second time Swalwell had non-consensual sexual contact with her while she was drunk. In 2019, when she was still working for him, she said she woke up naked with him in a hotel room after a night of heavy drinking.
This follows a textbook predator pattern, targeting young staffers, using alcohol as cover, exploiting power dynamics. The 2019 hotel incident happened while she worked for him. That's not just assault, it's workplace abuse enabled by congressional immunity.
However, that is not the standard that Eric Swalwell uses. He's a believe all women kind of guy. He's a Me Too kind of guy. So, CNN reports 3 other women who spoke with CNN also alleged various kinds of sexual misconduct by the Democratic congressman, including Swalwell sending them unsolicited explicit messages or nude photos.
Swalwell literally tweeted, "Believe women," dozens of times during Kavanaugh hearings. He demanded investigations over accusations with zero corroborating evidence. Now facing 4 accusers with text messages, medical tests, and witness testimony, suddenly he wants due process.
Ain't no lady on earth who wants a nude photo. Ain't a thing. Ain't a thing. Maybe a thing for gay dudes, not a thing for the ladies. There is not one woman on planet Earth who's desperate for Eric Swalwell's dick pic. Not a real thing.
Unsolicited, explicit photos constitute sexual harassment under federal law. For a sitting congressman to send them to young female staffers isn't just creepy, it's potentially criminal. These women feared career retaliation if they reported him.
CNN found corroboration for key elements of each of the women's claims. 2 family members and a friend said that one woman told them about the alleged 2024 assault in the following days. CNN also reviewed text messages that she sent 2 friends describing her allegations at the same time. Quote, I was sexually assaulted on Thursday, she wrote to one of her friends, adding, by Eric. She then went and got an STD and pregnancy test. So scratch what I said earlier about the external evidence. It seems like there's lots of external evidence, actually. Oh, no.
The corroborating evidence is overwhelming. Immediate disclosure to family, contemporaneous text messages, medical documentation. This isn't he said, she said anymore. Multiple independent sources confirm a pattern spanning years, exactly what Democrats demanded believing for Kavanaugh.
Swalwell, who is married and has 3 kids, showed close interest in their lives when they were in their 20s and finding their footing professionally. Then he would send them increasingly sexual messages. Many said they reciprocated and engaged with him in part because of his position of power. So again, this is where it starts to get into, is it Me Too territory? Was it consensual? But in some cases, these inappropriate exchanges escalated to alleged unwanted physical touch or sexual assault, often tied to episodes of heavy drinking. Someone found it difficult to restrain himself.
The grooming pattern is classic. Target young women starting careers, build dependency, escalate gradually. Studies show workplace predators specifically choose vulnerable targets who need their approval for advancement. Power corrupts, and congressional power corrupts absolutely.
Well, 55 of Swalwell's former staffers signed a letter calling for him to resign from Congress and for a full law enforcement investigation. In fact, by the way, there's now a movement afoot in Congress to kick a bunch of Congress people out, people who have engaged in sexual misconduct and all the rest. They said, quote, as leaders of teams working for Eric Swalwell, we're horrified by the recent reporting in the San Francisco Chronicle and by CNN. We stand with our former colleague and the other women who have come forward.
55 former staffers calling for resignation isn't partisan politics. It's his own people saying he's unfit. They worked with him daily, saw the pattern firsthand. When your own team demands you resign, the evidence is overwhelming.
Shortly after being elected to Congress in 2013, his behavior towards women was known by all levels of our local government and the Alameda County Democratic Party. Don't get it twisted. Nobody has been more critical of Swalwell over the years. I tried repeatedly to get the stories out. I can't force women to speak out, and when they chose not to, I didn't push. I also knew that Swalwell was known to threaten litigation again.
The system protected him through legal intimidation and party loyalty. Swalwell threatened lawsuits against accusers. Classic predator playbook. Democratic leadership knew, but stayed silent because he was useful attacking Trump. Institutional protection enabled more victims.
People decided to look the other way because of his politics. Matt Iglesias of Bloomberg said the Swalwell situation was, shall we say, widely rumored. It's interesting the gossip doesn't seem to have made its way to all the big shots out west. Well, apparently others said they had been warned as well.
This mirrors Anthony Weiner, John Edwards, Bob Menendez, Democrats protecting sexual predators as long as they're politically useful. The whisper networks knew, party leadership knew, but stopping a Trump critic wasn't worth protecting women.
The president of an organization called Afghan Evac, named Sean Van Diver, said he'd been warned. Quote, I owe an apology to every person I introduced to Eric Swalwell over the years. The rumors about him weren't new. They'd been circulating for a long time. Many people were aware of them. When he asked for my support in the California gubernatorial race, I raised those concerns directly. He unequivocally denied them. Well, it turns out that he was lying, or at least allegedly lying.
Every introduction to Swalwell potentially put more women at risk. The silence wasn't neutral. It was complicity. People prioritize political advantage over basic safety, exactly the institutional sexism they claim to oppose.
He released a tweet this morning announcing that he was out. He said, quote, I'm suspending my campaign for governor. To my family, staff, friends, and supporters, I'm deeply sorry for mistakes in judgment I've made in my past. I will fight the serious false allegations that have been made, but that's my fight, not a campaign's.
That's not an apology. It's damage control. Mistakes in judgment minimizes alleged rape as poor decision-making. He's not dropping out from shame. He's cutting losses before more evidence emerges. His congressional seat remains safe.
Well, good luck to him in finding his restraint. Democrats are having some problems out there.
The restraint irony completes the circle perfectly. Democrats lecture Americans about morality while protecting predators in their ranks. Swalwell mocked restraint while allegedly unable to restrain himself from assaulting staff. Pure projection.